English 151 reprint rumors and speculation that's circulating around right now. It's a very, very interesting topic, and it's actually one of the most requested videos I've had for the channel. And I want to really go into English 151 and talk about this reprint or the speculation that's happening. What's really, really interesting about this and why it's such a big deal is the fact that the holiday season is about to come up, and usually retailers and stores need to get prepared for this in time. Is this really surprising to anyone? It is probably the biggest set that Pokemon's released within the last maybe 5 years. I think it even competes with Evolving Skies for popularity, probably even more popular. It is a pretty big deal that it's getting reprinted, but it's not that surprising either. I mean, why would it be, right? This is the biggest set that Pokemon's pretty much released. I mean, this shouldn't really surprise anyone. And in fact, reprints are one of the best things for the hobby, and especially now, man, because like if you're actually looking for long-term growth trajectory on products, right? Something like 151, you really want a large collective cohort of people to experience the set. You want people to get involved. You want people to, pull their chase cards. And if there's not products on the shelves only a year after the release, that is a big problem. I mean, guys, the set is not even a year old. It came out in September for the English 151, came out September 2023. We're not even a year old. Of course, this should be getting a reprint, and of course, people should be getting the sets. These sets will, something like 151 is a very long-term game, but it's really good as well. Because like when you think of something like 151, right, there is a lot of, the real collectors in the scene. They kind of say, oh, 151 is a little bit overrated. And I do get their point of view, but the reason why that doesn't stick for in terms of like a Pokemon investing lens, when you think of the Pokemon 151, right? And if you're thinking really in long term for holding these products, your Pokemon 151 is like when someone says Dragon Ball Z, the first thing you think of is Goku and Super Saiyan hair. Or when you think of Blue Eyes White Dragon, the first thing you think of Yu-Gi-Oh is that. It is the magnum opus. It is what holds Pokemon together. All the original 151 Pokemon are known by every single generation of Pokemon fans since its inception. Nothing has that kind of power like Pokemon 151. And that's why when people try like put it down or say it's overrated, it can be what it can be, but the reality is that the amount of fans that are within the hobby that got introduced to 151 is enormous. I mean, even on my channel, when I look at the comments and I read what people say, nearly every fourth comment is like, hey, I just got back into the hobby because of 151. I mean, there is so many people that have been brought back because of this set, and it's really like a revolutionized base set, right? So, as much as it's a speculation, I think it's definitely going to happen, and I think it definitely should happen. And again, I think it should be heavy, but it's going to be very interesting to see what happens to the market because of this. And we're going to go into that in just a second. One oversight that happened when 151 released the English version was the booster bundles, man. Oh, you couldn't get them. Like literally that was sold out everywhere. Booster bundles were like the hardest item to get. Now, this is the reason why 151 for me has been a hard investment. I don't like investing in ETBs because they're bulky. Then you got the ultra premium collection, which is like a massive thing to store, right? This thing takes up so much room. You need so much real estate in your home to be holding ultra premium collections, right? They're big products. My biggest go-to would be, booster bundles. I love them, buying a case of booster bundles, right? Or a box of booster bundles. These things are gone. Like they're just sold out everywhere. You cannot get these. They're so hard to find. And I think that was an oversight on release. And I hope with the reprint that the booster bundles come about because, that's where Japanese 151 has been much easier for me as a buy, just because the booster boxes in the Japanese 151 are so easy to store. They're so compact. They look so great. They're so small. They're just easy to store, man. With these, your options are either a UPC or an ETB. And if you can get your hands on a booster bundle, but the price per pack ratio that you're going to be paying is enormous. So it doesn't really make a good investment, right? Here's the thing. And I want to go into what's going to happen with the market because I think this reprint or the speculation, the prices and the singles of the English 151 aren't really looking too strong. So it's going to be a really interesting time to see what happens in the market. I'm going to go into that. Right here, I am on the booster bundle display, which is, your 10 booster bundles in a big box. This is actually a great way to hold 151, I think. I think I really like this and I'd love to get my hands on it. But you can see in the 3 months, right, this was sitting at around $396. And now it's gone up to $482. So you can see that there's a lot of demand for 151, not enough product. A reprint is necessary. It's time to get this in the market. We go on the year graph. This thing is looking like it's about to exceed its all-time high at 524. And when that happened, booster bundles, if you were around when 151 released, booster bundles, man, forget about it. forget about it. You could not get your hands on them. They were one of the hardest products to get. Then it kind of calmed down, and now again, it's looking like booster bundles are hard. Booster bundles are very attractive to people who like holding sealed, right? A lot of people get annoyed with when you've only got ETBs and UPCs as your option. A lot of people love their booster bundles. So I do think if the reprint happens and there are booster bundles, they're going to be very, very in demand. And just because of that, right? Like I just, I love my Pokemon investing, and I just do not like investing in UPCs and ETBs. And I know a lot of people share that same sentiment, but this is going to be really interesting. This is probably going to hit an all-time high. Whether or not this reprint announcement gets confirmed and gets more drilled in, I'm not sure, but it definitely is looking like it's going to have a very interesting rise. And the next one that we're on is the Pokemon Center ETB. And you can see right here that this thing straight off the floodgate was selling for $157. And then it went down right to $82, and it is now steadily climbing and is sitting at $129. Really hope that these get reprints, though in history, the reason why a lot of people love their Pokemon Center products is they just don't get that many reprints as other products. So it's very likely that it may get stocked, but it's also likely that it won't get restocked. And I think that's why a lot of people love their Pokemon Center products. It's kind of like anyone's game with these, right? But if you're looking in the 3 months, this thing has been climbing pretty steadily, man. So it's like up 28% in the last 3 months. I'm very interested to see if this is going to get a reprint. I know across the world, like Australia, we just got our Pokemon Center store. Really hope they stock this if the reprint happens. I think that'd be really cool. Moving on, and we are on the 151 ETB base. These things as well are seeing a steady climb up. They were on their low in around December during the Christmas period for $46, and now they're currently sitting at $68. Pretty expensive for 10 packs, but you can see 151 is in demand. Is it any surprise? Not at all. We always knew this. I've spoken about 151 for such a long time. This can have as many reprints as it wants. It's always going to go up in value when the stock's not there, just because so many people love this set. Moving forward now with the singles, because I think that this reprint is going to have a very interesting impact on the singles, because I think right now the singles are in a weird spot, and I think what can happen with these is super interesting. So I'm on the Charizard right now. I'm on the 1 year graph. Now you can see that the highest point of the Charizard was in November last year when it was selling for 135 US per rock copy. Now this has gone down quite substantially, and the lowest point in the market was 102, and now it's climbing steadily back up. I'm very interested to see now what's going to happen with this reprint rumor circulation, because I think a lot of people that are thinking, if they do, reprint it and it goes as heavy as Japanese 151, which I highly doubt because I've never seen a reprint that big in the history of TCGs. That thing was a crazy reprint. But if it does go even, let's say 70% of that strength, I do think the singles will drop quite substantially, just because I don't think a lot of people are going to be holding on to these singles. They're going to be pulling them. A lot of people are going to sell them off. They're going to get duplicates. That's just how the game works. And right now, the market's quite hot on Charizard at the moment. I think that this could pull the price down if this reprint comes to be. Moving forward, we've got the Blastoise, and I'm on the year graph, and you can see Blastoise is sitting at probably a very low point in its history. The top of the market was in October, where it was selling $56 raw, and of course now it's sitting at around 46. And I do think, very likely with the reprint, this is going to go down. I'm very, very surprised at the price. I do think though, what's happened is because so much 151 was ripped, right? So much has been, opened, and so many people have it. There's so many duplicates, right? Like even me, when I opened my 151, when I bought it, last year, I just got so many duplicates of really good cards as well. Some people don't really like holding on to duplicates. They sell them off. So it is going to be interesting to see again, when this reprint, if the reprint happens, how much these singles can really tumble down. The next one is the Venusaur. Now, this Venusaur is looking like it's about to enter its highest point ever in history. The highest point it had was $47 around November last year. And you can see right now it's sitting at $44. So it's very likely that this one is going to keep climbing up if there is no reprint. If there is a reprint, I think that this is going to drop very, very much so. It's a fantastic card. It's a sensational card, gorgeous artwork, though I do think that a lot of these singles aren't in a very safe spot at the moment. And I really would love to know your thoughts on that, because with the reprint circulation, everyone knew what happened when Japanese 151 had the reprint. Everyone was like, oh, we're going to sell. It will be super crazy to see what happens now with these reprint rumors circulating. What is going to happen with people holding onto their sealed product? Because very interestingly, when the Japanese 151 reprint rumor circulated, a lot of people weren't just selling off their collections too quickly. When the rumors were around, everyone was just kind of holding, but it went from 180 USD a box to 50 USD a box. Things like that can happen with this as well. I'm going to be very interested to see how much this can draw and pull the market down. Moving on to the 151 Zapdos. Now, I did make a video just recently that I really thought that this card is an awesome single at the moment. And you can see that its high was around January this year at $43 and it's sitting at $38. You know, it's a $5 difference. It's pretty much the same price, right? It's going to be really, really weird to see if the reprint, how much can this one be pulled down? It's kind of weird because this Zapdos to me is such a cool artwork. It is probably one of the best from 151, but it doesn't really have such strong demand like Charizard. It's less than half price. So really, really crazy. I really think that this is an overlooked card at the moment, to be honest. Moving forward to one of the favorite cards and a lot of people's favorite is the Alakazam from 151. This has been on a very steady price. I think this is really healthy for the market. I think the reprint won't have that much of an effect on this card because you can see it was $38, you know, at its market high, and right now it's $32, but it's stayed there pretty much for the whole year. The lowest point it went to was $26, but it recovered quite quickly after that. I think it's a very loved card. It's a sensational artwork. And you know, when we look at this stuff and we look over our Pokemon, we need awesome artworks, we need difficult pull rates, and we need iconic Pokemon. Alakazam ticks all those boxes. So this is going to be always a very, very desired card. Now moving on to the Pikachu 151 illustration rare. Absolutely sensational card. But again, I don't think the reprint will actually affect too much of these mid-tier illustration rare cards, just because you can see here with this Pikachu, the highest in the market was $23, the lowest in the market was $15, but it is sat at like a $19 card pretty much for the last year. It's a pretty safe card, and I do think Pikachu is always going to have that demand. It's in a pretty safe spot. Moving forward though, we are on the Erikas Invitation. This card to me is the craziest example of 151. I just do not understand the price for this card. To me, it is absolutely mind-boggling. It is one of the coolest artworks I think I've seen for trainer cards, and the fact it's a special illustration rare, right off the floodgate, it looked really early days that it was going to hold, and I thought that this was going to go up. This thing went the complete opposite. It's very reminiscent of Crown Zenith Pikachu, right? I think the reprint will be very harsh to this card, seeing that it's sitting at a $16 card at the moment. If this reprint does come, I do not see this even holding at 16. I think you're going to be looking at a Crown Zenith Pikachu. Though one thing that's very important to know is that nothing is set in stone with this reprint, right? But it's going to be super crazy on the single market, I think, if it happens. I do think that they're going to go quite hard with the reprint if they do. I don't know why they would even hold back. They know how popular 151 is. They know how many fans love this set, and why wouldn't you want so many fans to experience it? This will only help 151 later down as an investment, I personally think, because, you know, you're going to have so many generations experience the set. You know, we've already experienced it last year. Some of you that are new here are going to experience it, and also younger generations are going to be able to get their hands in this set where their parents are saying, I'm not going to pay that much for an ETB. Though, when the Christmas period comes and it's on sale or it's on a very reasonable price point, more people are going to be able to experience the set. More people are going to make memories of the set, and it's going to be only good for it as an investment. Though there is one reason why Pokemon 151 is seen as such a great set, and it all comes down to one specific reason. And that reason is revealed in this video here. So watch this video titled The 4 Reasons Why Pokemon 151 is a Goldmine. Within this video, I look over Pokemon 151 and do a deep dive in what makes this set so iconic. Click that video on screen and we'll talk more about it there.